Governments deny it. Militaries deny it. Even the mainstream media denies it. But they are here and they've been here for a very long time. The Mutual UFO Network has been on the front lines uncovering the truth since 1969. And now we're sharing that truth with you. Welcome to MUFON What's Up with your hosts, Katie Page, Shane Hurd, and Tara Diulis. Exclusively on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. Wondering what's up? So are we.
What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night, and you are listening to MUFON What's Up Radio, the show that says discovery starts with curiosity, and curiosity starts with MUFON, brought to you by KGRADB.com. As always, I hope you go to their website and check out their great content and all their wonderful shows they have out there for all of you to enjoy and watch and learn from. As always, we are brought to you by MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, always asking that all-important question, are we alone in the universe? We have a fantastic guest for you tonight. We have LALA Bright. LALA Bright is a psychic medium, and she's also a UFO experiencer contactee. So I can't wait to talk with LALA this evening. Got to sit with her on an online panel just the other night, and she is just chock full of really cool information. So looking forward to that. I'd like to bring in my co-hosts. We have Tara Diulis. Tara, you can see Tara also here on KGRA on SkyTour Live with Mark D'Antonio. How you doing, Tara? Did you have a wonderful vacation? We missed you last week.
Hi, Katie. What's up, everyone? Yes, I am glad to be back, even though I would love to still be on vacation. It was great. It was great.
You were like on a yacht, right?
I was hanging out on Lake Powell on a boat. So It was awesome.
On a boat, baby. Yeah. Awesome. Let's bring Shane Hurd in. Shane is the Assistant State Director for Phoenix MUFON, and he has an awesome book. If anybody's at all interested in investigating UFOs, I highly recommend Shane's awesome book, Beginner's Guide to Researching UFOs. How you doing, Shane?
Good. Thank you for the shameless plug there. And yeah, I didn't have as glamorous of a week. I basically shoveled horse stalls morning, noon, and night because my poor wife broke her finger. And she couldn't take her turn at it, so I had to do double duty. But
I'd be breaking something every week.
I know the things you do to get out of horse work.
It's my ankle this time. Can't do it. You're wearing your winning shirt.
Yes, I could check their flag. I'm winning today.
By a nose.
I love it. Hey, I want to give a shout out to all those in Florida. Yes. We know we have hurricane headed that way. So our thoughts are with all of you. And I hope you all stay safe out there and evacuate if you're told to evacuate. We just had to do that a couple of weeks ago here. We had a fire within a mile of the house. Wow. So, these different weather events that are out of our control, they're scary, but just go where it's safe. Nothing's worth risking your life over. So stay safe out there in Florida. Yeah. So Tara, what do you have to kick us off?
Well, so if you're flying to Florida, do you hate going to the airports?
Any airport.
I know, all the stuff you have to do. Have you ever wondered what it's like maybe for aliens to go to the airport? So today's meme gives us a glimpse of that. And it shows aliens going through security at the airport and the guards shouting his instructions. You can tell he's just sitting there bored as heck, telling them to completely empty the contents of their stomachs and put their eyes in the tray. And here we thought we had it bad. That's hilarious. They're kind of going, you can't even see to go through the security. It's funny.
That's hilarious.
You wonder, I bet they have to do the same thing. I wonder if they have to take their shoes off too before they get on board.
I don't think they wear shoes.
I don't know. I've never seen an alien, so it seems like they want something. So, well, on to that. So if you go to Florida and you're indoors, staying away from the hurricanes, what you can do is, how about a big puzzle? So these are found on Amazon, and they're proudly made in the USA. And they're puzzles that basically are hidden piece images puzzles. So here we have Bigfoot and the Yeti. And they both have some beautiful images inside of them. And the Bigfoot's more like tropical, where the Yeti is all that nice and cold stuff going on. But these are
I
800.
like that.
Isn't that pretty? And they have such kind faces. But there's 850 pieces, and it's something you can do while you're indoors, just hanging out with your family or friends. And where else can you find it but on Amazon, where you can pretty much find anything, right? So it's just fun.
It's never too early to start that Christmas shopping. And I'm telling you, it reminds me, the faces of those, if you could put the one back up, the summertime one, he looks like Harry and the Hendersons from Harry and the Hendersons. Does he not?
That's what I thought too.
Put him on the roof of your station wagon, strap him on down, head out with the family truckster.
They're just so kind looking, you know. Who wouldn't want to hang out with them, you know?
Right.
Did you guys remember that movie? I'm aging myself here.
No, that's a great movie. It's John Lithgow and all the fun people. So great.
That's awesome.
So if you're out looking for Bigfoot or Yeti, make sure you fuel up, everybody. Stay hydrated all year round. Fuel up hydrates your cells and helps boost your immune system. And it has everything you need and nothing you don't. So you can wake, play, or rest with Fuel Up. So you can go to fuelup.gg/MUFON for all their important deals and offers, and stay hydrated. Yep, we're all doing that every day. So, well, Shane, we're all curious. What have you heard lately?
Have you heard?
Yeah. Have you guys heard? I was thinking about a couple things that kind of irritated me this week. So I'm going to not be snarky, but, you know, sometimes you just got to let it go, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys, you know what a trope is. A trope is like a statement that means something else, essentially. So, and so it's usually used, well, some examples would be like hyperboles or irony or metaphors or juxtapositions and things. So I think you'll understand what I'm talking about as I move on further through this. But I'll say, you know, I love, respect, and admire, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, Stephen Hawking when he was alive, that sort of thing. But they typically will use or make these kinds of statements when talking about UAP. And it just frustrates me a little bit because, you know, we're all about trying to have credibility on the issue. It's something we fought for 80 years and we're finally getting some, but there are some holdouts out there. And I get it. The scientific community's got to be careful about what they say, but, you know, they are leaders and people listen to them. They influence people. So, I want them to, do and say the right thing. So I'm going to just give you a couple examples here. So the first one is this, and I bet you guys have heard it. We've all heard this. It's, with 1 billion cell phones on the planet, why are there no good photos and videos of UAP? Right? We've all heard that. First of all, what I'd like to say is there are millions of photos and videos of UAP. MUFON has a couple 100,000 themselves, right? Mm-hmm. The UAP Task Force, ATIP, OSAP, ARROW, Blue Book, the DOD, the Navy, the Air Force, and many other nations all have photos and videos of UAP. And the public in general has many. Just log on to the internet and you're tripping over them already, right? They're on the front page of all these apps and websites now, right? Because it's a popular topic. So that argument, it's really hard to swallow. You know, they want to make it sound like there's just none, or there are none that are good, right? Well, among those millions of photos and videos are definitely misrepresentations, hoaxes, there's misidentifications, much like in the investigation process. When we investigate, 90% of our cases, you can pretty much, find an explanation for. But there's a percentage that are true unknowns. And the same is true with these photos and videos. Some of what we are seeing are true unknowns. Now, because you're just seeing them on the internet and that sort of thing, it's very difficult to go through the process of vetting them and making sure that they're real and accurate investigating, but it's being done. But your average person may not be able to do that. So I get that. But it's that little uncertainty and obscurity where when you start making those comments, it's sort of a dig, but it's really actually not true. And I think it's a little weak and a little bit lazy and actually a little bit dishonest. So it irritates me when I hear those sorts of things. And if you're a debunker, please stop. I don't like that. We don't need that stuff. We're on the cusp of really learning something, important and valuable here. And we need to, people who have influence should use it to help bring credibility to the topic and not demean it, right? Okay, so the second trope that kind of irritates me, and I bet you've all heard this one as well, is, hey, if they have the technology to come all the way here from light years away, I hardly think they're going to crash their vehicles here on Earth. Okay, all right, let's get into this one. Oh, really? What scientific principle is this opinion formed, right? Just because it doesn't make it so. And in the experience in all of human history, what machine do you hold as an example of one that never fails? So let's think about it. All machines, they're first imagined, then they're designed, then they're manufactured, they're tested. When they fail, you go through the whole process again until you get it right? And then, and I'll just say, that process is not a reflection of a state of perfection, right? It's mistake laden. It takes effort. Science is hard. And so it's that's reflected in that process. And then when you do get a machine, perfected, quote, perfected where you want it, it fulfills the purpose for which you design it. It still requires maintenance, repair, upgrading software, hardware, that kind of thing. And so why would we make the assumption that machines made by someone else would not have these same characteristics? That makes no sense. Just because a civilization might be more advanced than us, it doesn't equate to perfection, right? When you think about it, usually the more complex something is, the more likely it can fail. And a lot of people like to look at Occam's razor, right? And Occam's razor essentially says something to the effect that, the simpler something is, the more likely, that you understand it correctly, and simple is better than complex, right? So the thing is, though, we have observations that are not explained by the evidence. So the evidence is there are crash retrievals, right? We've not seen the proof yet, but there's evidence there. So why are they crashing? Let's not just, dismiss it. Why? There must be a reason, right? Well, again, let's look at human activity. Why do human-made crafts crash? Well, there's mechanical failure, there's pilot error, there's weather, there's physical phenomena, environmental influences, collisions, hostile acts, etc. Well, why would we assume these would not apply to any ET vehicle or craft, especially here in our atmosphere, right? There's no reason to conclude that would be the case. Again, the evidence suggests otherwise, right? And, it might be due to superstition or religious belief or just this, need to debunk that makes some ignore this evidence. But the fact is, evidence suggests it does happen.
Somebody agrees with you.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah. Sorry. And then
the gods
speculate that they might even be doing it intentionally to, seed human culture so that we can advance more rapidly from a technological perspective. But bottom line is, actually, none of us know. We don't know. Right. We don't know what happens, why it happens, at least not in the public domain anyway. But, the suggestion is that it's happening. And again, ignoring that, I think, is kind of weak and quite kind of lazy, and it's an obvious obfuscation, designed to impugn the topic rather than support it, and that's what kind of irritates me. And I would just like to ask everyone, whether you're a layman, a scientist, military, law enforcement, educators, religionists, and everyone, just treat the topic with some respect, and others and their opinions with respect. And think about it. Humans are the most curious, imaginative explorers known to the universe. So let's act like it and find the truth about this phenomena once and for all, for the benefit of all of humanity. That's it.
That's it. Great rant, Shane. I love it. You bring up so many great points.
Really?
I mean, you bring up so many good points, though. I mean, weather phenomenon, radar, lightning storms, drunk pilots. These could be teenage extraterrestrials for a joyride. Let's go see the crazies on planet Earth. They're drinking, having a little too much fun. They crash that craft. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know whether anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
I'm thinking in the evolution of extraterrestrials, they have to go through like adolescence, just like the rest of us. And we we steal the parents' car or whatever. And not only that, Shane, but we have so many different types of craft, right? Mm-hmm. Some appear to be crashing more than others. So to your point,
maybe they're the Yugos of space scientists.
And Shane just went, he's not muted, and he just went, it's the paranormal show.
No, he's here.
Oh, Tara too. Hello.
Oh, I think it's Katie.
Where did you guys go?
Can you hear us?
Yes. It's you, Katie. We see you. We hear you.
Oh, it was on my end. I unplugged my cord. I'm like, everybody just went away.
I heard that Mercury's in retrograde, you guys.
Is that
you think? Has it been like all week? Because it sure feels like it. All right. No, that's a really good argument, Shane.
Yeah,
I agree with you 100%.
Great points.
And speaking of different types of craft, the case of the week this week is kind of interesting. Sometimes with these photos and videos, even us investigators, have a tendency to make quick judgments based on, we will look at a video, we'll look at a photo and go, oh, it's A, B, C, or D, right? It's this, that, or the other thing, without really taking the time to go frame by frame and looking with an open mind. To Shane's point, let's all take a step back. We're trying to figure out this phenomena together, leave our opinions to the side and just look what's presented to us. And the case this week is sort of like that. First, I'd like to say that it's never too late to report in a historic case, because although this one was just reported in the last few months, it dates from May 17th of 2017. So, a little bit of an older case. It is case number, hold on, let me get the light here. It is case number 132164. It was a category 2 case out of Glendale, Arizona.
Awesome.
So we're in your backyards.
Right there.
Right there. So the reporting person says, as I was walking on the west side of the house, I happened to look up and the sun was blocked out by the solar panel. I saw the orbs as they appeared to glow. I hurried into the house and got my iPhone. I shot some still photos and had to work very hard to record them as they flew overhead. One flew very close to the house and appeared to be about the size of a Ford Fusion. It was a cloudless and pretty much windless day. In the video, you'll see the solar panel in the lower left corner and 2 orbs. If you stretch the video, you will see more orbs further in the background. The orbs were moving very, very fast. Turns out the person who photographed this event, actually, he was a videographer for 2 very large sports teams. So he is a videographer for a living. So a very credible witness. And before I say more and how this case was concluded, I'll go ahead and roll the first video, Tara.
Okay.
for a little while, and that was slowed down. But I have two others that I slowed down and zoomed in on. And the first one, I counted up to 12 of these glowing orb-like lights. So if you want to run that second slowed video. At 3:30 in the afternoon, and one of the field investigators' theories, or somebody who analyzed the videos theories, were there on Google Earth. You could see that there were a lot of what is a certain type of tree, and maybe perhaps they were seeds of this tree blowing in the wind. But what's interesting is the more I looked at the video, I saw like streaks of almost like they were traveling really fast. So that third video, if you keep an eye, you'll see these streaks as they are like seem to excel in their speed, and they leave a trail. So if we can run that third video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like I said, there were 12 of these things, kind of all going in different. And there's one point where three lights kind of come together in a triangle and then kind of shoot in different directions. If they were something blowing in the wind, you would think they'd all kind of go with the wind. What do you guys think about this one? It was closed as an unknown other. So.
Oh, I think it's great video, even though it's kind of difficult to see. There's quite a lengthy video of it. Oh,
I forgot. In the video too, there's a bug that flies through. So there's a photograph. Yeah, let's do that one where it has the objects. Okay, so you see the house or the solar panel. You see those orbs there, and then you see bug. And during the video, you could see the bug. Actually, you could see the wings. You could see how the bug moves, which is excellent because it really differentiates the bug and the orbs. And you have the house for perspective. So really cool. And then there were two other quick photos of just the orbs that the witness sent in. But I counted 12 of these things in that footage. And the FI in this case also, states that this is a phenomenon that's seen around the world. He looked at several other examples from cases in France, and they're very similar, eerily similar to what this witness captured. So what do you think, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's inconclusive, but that is a common thing to see. I had a sighting that was very similar to that. It was a singular object, but, kind of the white, bright dot in the sky. And that they are kind of confounding because, like you said, if it were the cottonwood puffs of cotton that comes off these trees and floating around, it would behave differently. And the picture did have some scale to it with the solar panel, and then later the one with the bug. And so you could really see that thing was off at a distance, a greater distance. So it was distant and as large as, say, the bug, right? So it had to be bigger than the bug, scaled up comparatively to the distance. We don't know the exact distance. So that was not a little piece of puffy stuff coming off a tree, based on just that last image that we saw. And of course, like we always say, it's not the visual representation, it's the movement. What was it doing? Right. And again, it wasn't just kind of floating around. And like you said, the streaking indicates that it's tracking, a camera goes at 30 frames per second. And so if it's moving fast enough, you're going to get that trailing that comes behind it. So,
right. And speaking of movement, what was really interesting, I put the video in After Effects, Adobe After Effects, and I was trying to track the one orb. You know how you can track it? So I could put like a round circle around it so you guys could follow the object more easily on video here. And what was interesting, I tried this several times, and the tracking kept tracking to the left and down in the same pattern, as if it was tracking something
else
that we couldn't see with our eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, I found that very curious. And that's another thing with this phenomenon. That's why MUFON has the category, unidentified other, because we do have these lighted orbs, or these just what seem to be balls of light, or some people call them fairy lights. There's so many different names for these anomalous lights, and they can be orange, blue, white. And I think LALA has experienced this also, and has captured some of these lights with her cameras as well. And we could talk to our guest about that, because you don't know what category to put them. Are they observing us? Are they scouting lights? Are they, I don't know what they are, but they're mysterious and they're seen all around the world. And I don't think we can dismiss them. Maybe they're not your typical standard nuts and bolts UFO craft with, where we think we have pilots, but maybe they have more control over these energy balls. That's, I like to call them that. Or maybe they perhaps are these really small little, I don't know. They're very unusual, So that's case of the week this week.
Awesome.
We're going to get back to Bob next Tuesday. Bob was at the MUFON Symposium this last weekend. From what I could see, it looks like everybody had a wonderful time there at the symposium in Cincinnati. We missed being there. None of the three of us made it this year, but we'll be there next year. And it sounds like they had a terrific time and a great attendance. So fun was had by all.
Yay.
Yeah. So, Tara, do you have a Mars case?
Yes, in fact, I do. Oh, thanks,
Awesome.
Katie. Well,
Okay.
Katie, again, at the MUFON Symposium, they just started to announce that the Mars Archives of Historic Cases are going to be available for everybody this year. So you're going to find all sorts of interesting things. And so today's case, it brings us to the night of November 19th in Temperanceville, Virginia. And so I have a case here of a 30-year-old practical nurse who got off work just after 11 p.m. and began her usual drive home. It was several miles away, and this is the type of information you'll find in these cases. She pulled into a stop sign and noticed a green light hovering in a nearby field at an altitude of 30 to 40 feet. And there was also a bright shaft of light, similar to a light beam shining down onto the field below. And then she saw that it was an object. And so she described, again, this is the description, she described it as circular in shape with two each stationary green and red lights. And it was moving slowly. She said it was grayish silver and had a bubble similar to those found on helicopters, which was illuminated by a soft interior white light. And so the witness stated, this is what's interesting about this case, is that there were three human-like silhouettes were seen moving about inside the bubble with their torsos visible from the waist up. So at this time, so she described it as two and red green lights, and then she described it's a little bit close up, it started to pixelate, but there's three moving figures in that little bubble that comes up. So at this time, the object began to move toward the witness in her car, and she was stopped at a stop sign and saw the UFO across. And so she sat there and watched it as it flew directly over her vehicle, blocking out the evening sky. And she said as it was directly above her, she heard a loud humming noise, similar to like a generator, and it drowned out all the other sounds, including her running vehicle. And then the object continued on and quickly disappeared from view. So the investigation found that the proximity of, it's called Wallops Island, if I'm spelling it right, it's a NASA base there. It was just a few miles away, so it makes the sighting suspicious. However, the description of the craft was unlike anything the investigator had ever seen. So this is possibly a CE3 case because it was a visual sighting of an occupant or entity associated with the UFO. So all sorts of fun stuff can be found in these archives. So, and that's what I have. So, Katie?
Excellent case, Tara. That humming noise, man, that is something that somebody needs to get to the bottom of. Let's just collect these craft that have these hums, because you hear it time and time, seems to be more prevalent in the 70s and 80s. And I think you said that case was in the 80s, correct?
82. Mm-hmm.
82. So
Yeah.
what, did they,
Very cool.
was that like an old model of UFOs that needed to hum? I don't know.
Needed a new muffler.
Yeah, really. They're so interesting.
Those leaky
Love
mufflers.
It is. But there's thousands
case.
of these cases, so it's just really fun to get and a privilege to get to view them. So
no, it truly is, and I think to the point, we can learn so much from historic cases, and we can't just dismiss them. We got to go back, look at them, reinvestigate them, take a second look at them. Michael Schrad is an expert at bringing those old cases to life and illustrating those old cases. I just love the work that he's been doing with those, and so much can be gleaned from those historical cases. So I'm really glad that that's being rolled out. But I think it's time to bring in our guest. I'm so excited. Let me read her bio and we'll bring her on in. So LALA Bright is a psychic medium. Lala's earliest paranormal recollection was at age 5, and it is of her finding her neighbor's grave in a Baltimore cemetery with thousands of graves by hearing the deceased neighbor calling her. Her father was a Reiki practitioner, experiencer, and energy worker, and recognized her instantly. She now speaks to the deceased for those who need it. She speaks to aliens for those who needs it. And she calls energy beings to her home daily and gets them to respond intelligently. And I would like to welcome to the show, LALA Bright.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, LALA. Like I said, I got to meet you briefly just here recently. And I would like to just start, if you could just sort of give us a background. I mean, you kind of touched on it there in your bio. You're a young girl and,
Thank you.
well, just like in the movie where I See Dead People, I mean, that had to been quite scary for you, right? Hearing, or was it not? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but walk us through that a little bit.
It was as if it was an everyday occurrence, even the first few times.
Okay.
I guess because I was so young, I just didn't know any better to be scared.
Right.
I believe I had more experiences. I remember when I was really little, I would dream of me in my backyard looking up and a whole bunch of crafts would be flying over my head. And then a few years later, I saw a movie with them in it, and I said, oh, I know what those are. I dream about them all the time.
Oh, so interesting.
Yeah. And throughout my life, in different ways, they'd show up. I've seen a craft. I've literally seen a craft, the underbelly of it and the detail in it by accident because the helicopter put its spotlight on it and it was hiding in a cloud. I didn't know they did that until I saw it.
Wow.
And they've showed up as like these orange orbs over the roof. And then I found out I had by accident I was going to Florida. I was flying and I kept setting off the metal detector. And eventually I'm like, can I look at what you guys are seeing? Because nothing's in my pocket or on me. And it's the size of a piece of rice in my upper left outer thigh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I never fell. I never had surgery. There's no scars. And I wake up, especially lately, I've been waking up with weird triangle bruises and weird things happen. So they've always been in my life and even my dad's life.
Yeah, I was going to ask about your dad a little bit. So where did you grow up, LALA? What state did you grow up in?
In Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Yeah. Wow. And so, if you can kind of share with us your dad, you said because you typically hear like experiencers, they run in families. So if you can just kind of share with us about your dad too.
Sure. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but we're all O negatives. And I know there's kind of a mystery with that. Nobody really knows that much about it, but he was always scared to talk about, like we were best friends and he would talk about anything and spirits and spooky stuff, but he was terrified to talk about UFOs and aliens. And one time he did say, sometimes I see them following me when I walk the dog. And that was it. And I remember one time I was in Florida visiting. I was helping him take out the trash, and 5 large orange orbs appeared one at a time and went in the shape of a V over the roof. And I said, "Do you see this?" to my dad. He looked up at him, and robotically he said no, and he turned around and went in the house and never came out. And that wasn't like him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I looked back up at them, they one at a time disappeared, and I don't remember anything after that. Now, my mom, she never was really into any of this, and she never talked about it, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Are both your parents deceased now?
they are.
Yeah, they are. Okay.
Which is a reason. A couple of years ago, I lost my parents and my son's father, my boyfriend, and so I decided to stop hiding who I am, and because I wanted to help people feel better because I was hurting so much.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a real good psychic to help me heal. So I was like, well, let me just help other people. And that's how this all started. Wow. I mean, it blossomed. I met Bob, and he helped me with the business and this, and it's like more entities are drawn to me now because I'm more open to it. I'm not scared of it anymore.
Well, you brought up a couple really cool things, Lala. First of all, I'm sorry about losing so many people all at once, but it's in those times often we find ourselves sometimes at the lowest points in our lives where we do make the biggest changes. And I really commend you for living your truth and speaking your truth and wanting to help others, because so many of us in this community, especially experiencers, are taught to be quiet and to not share our gifts and fuel of ridicule and being teased or not believed. And I just wanted to just say here, all of us here at MUFON What's Up, that, you know, this is what we do. This is what we're trying to figure out. And certainly this has been a pattern that I've seen repeated over and over again, not only seeing people's family members that not only, like you said, he's a Reiki healer, correct? Yeah. So he has the gift of healing. You see these gifts, psychic gifts, healing gifts, energy workers that have sightings and unusual paranormal experiences, things like that. So I just, I commend you for taking the risk and doing what you're doing, especially when your motives is to help and share with other people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's really kind. It was a little scary at first, but it's definitely worth it. And I think there's more to come. There's lots more to come. I do believe that.
Yeah. When your heart's in the right place, for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Lala, this is Shane. I feel like I kind of know you and both Bob because of Facebook and, a lot of the things that you post and stuff. So I think that's really awesome. One of the things I find fascinating are the videos and clips that you show of these orbs interacting with you, and we're talking like either outside or inside. How has that come about? I mean, I think that's wild.
I know it sounds silly, but they can hear my thoughts. My intentions are pure, which is number one. If somebody wants to do this, they know what your intentions are, whether you want to try to hide it or not. And it started with me really grieving. And I said, look, can you just show me a sign? Because I need to get out of my head. And they did. And it started far away in the stars. And over the months, they got closer and closer to the point where they were moving my camera. So,
and I think you have video footage of that too. If you want to talk us through what this is that we're going to look at here in a second.
Sure. Right. It was really fast.
So then, you're gonna have to start over because I think this cut you out. But
I think it mutes when your video.
Yeah, mutes.
In the very beginning, a little orb shot down from the sky, and then all of a sudden, a light, and looks like a little head, right, appears, and you can hear movement, and it's slowly moving the camera towards my neighbor's house. And then the orb shoots back out. Where they move the camera is where they now shine their lights. I've seen crafts. I have video of crafts and shining a light because I was too dense to realize that's what they wanted. So they did it for me. I'm serious. It's amazing.
So where is your camera located? Is it
Backyard.
mounted? Is it
Yes.
mounted on a pole or on the house, or where is this camera located?
So it's mounted now. Before it was on a table, and it's pretty heavy. So you really have to move it. You have to put some muscle into it. But it's in the backyard and there's nothing around it to touch it or hit it. It wasn't windy that night. So I thought it was amazing. I mean, and the fact that it showed up almost as a being, but in light.
Right.
So
can we show that again, Tara? I want to see that again.
Here we go.
And so you see it pointing towards the trees and the roof, and you see something shoot off, and it's cool. I like it.
Right. That is very cool. And I think it's hilarious that you're like, I kind of didn't get it, but they wanted it over here so they could capture this next phenomenon that you see often, you and Bob. Hi, Bob, if you're watching, by the way. Science
He
Bob.
is, yeah.
Hi, Bob. And I told Bob too. Bob was on the panel. We've been having that phenomenon up here in the Rocky Mountains where I didn't know if it was like heat lightning or there's not a cloud in the sky, but the sky's lighting up, and I'm like, what the heck? We're out here in the middle of nowhere. So I it's not as yours seems to be more localized. Ours is kind of further in the distance. But so if we can roll, Tara, that one video of the rooftops and treetops lighting up.
And so the way our houses are put, there's no way a car light could make that happen, or a person could make that happen. And it happens frequently. But for a couple months, it was happening. And then I got to a point where I got bored of it. I hate to say that. And they stopped doing it for a while. And after a while, I'm like, look, I'm sorry, I miss it. Can you do it again? And they started doing it again.
Interesting.
But that's good too, because that lets me know, because it could have been anything, but that they heard me and they brought it back. And sometimes there's this little, it looks like almost a mini helicopter, and it's sideways and then goes up and down. And then that light starts to crawl and it shoots away. I mean, we have a video of a portal opening up and a light swooping around and out. It goes out the middle. A light goes out the middle of the portal, and then it disappears.
Wow.
That is some really cool footage, because that in of itself, I know when I filmed with Beyond, there was people out there in Elbert County that had very similar footage where they're out on, 130 acres of land. They're out there elk hunting or something, and these anomalous lights will just light up the treetops or shine a beam down. So, this isn't an isolated phenomenon. People are experience it, the same kind of thing all over. It makes you wonder, I've thought this a lot in my research, and maybe Shane and Tara have felt the same things, but it does seem like, you talk about ETs communicating telepathically, knowing your intentions, knowing your thoughts, your pure intentions, and being open. So people who aren't so dogmated and that are open tend to have more of these types of phenomenon around them, and it's not a one-off. This is repeatable, happens over and over and over again. I know they say, well, this isn't science, but when you can repeat something and it's responding to you and it seems to be interacting intelligently, then that is something we can look at.
Yes, absolutely. What I found really interesting is that
can I ask?
There were these sure. Go ahead. You can go.
Shane.
Shane, yes. I don't know. Can
Yeah,
you?
Shane. We're all waiting.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I, what I'm really curious about is this communication that you have. I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but what's it feel like? What's it like? How do you know and feel about it?
It's the purest way I've ever communicated, besides talking to my little boy. It is the purest feeling ever. It really is, because there's nothing in between. I don't have to read any line. Nobody's trying to get over on anybody. It's just, this is what I want. This is what I feel. And they either do it or they don't. And they care. And if I'm nervous, they back off, which I found really interesting. I didn't know that they would do that. And then when I calmed down after a few days, they came back. So it's a caring, loving with these that are around me. It's very loving.
Do you get a sense of who these beings are? Because we all know that there's different types of beings that are being, experienced by people. Do you get a sense of who these are that you're communicating with?
I don't want to say I know for sure, but I know I had a dream that told me, I said, what is all this? And the dream said M56. And so I woke up and I Googled it, and then I found out about the Pleiadians and Lyra and all that stuff. I didn't know about that. And so I'm guessing it has something to do with that. But I keep asking them, I want to know who you are. I want to know how you sound, what you really look like. And the thing is, I'm a little fearful, so I'm trying to get over that so that they'll do it. Because they're not going to come if I have fear. They're not going to come close. Bob's ready to get zoomed up and fly in the ship.
Bye, Bob.
That's what I said. See ya.
See ya. Very nice. He's gonna have a suitcase packed after the show. Sitting by the door, waiting for the Pleiadians. No, it's interesting you mentioned the Pleiadians, and you mentioned what came to you in a dream?
M56. And so that's the constellation of Lyra. Is that how you say that?
Lyra. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, because I too just learned of this myself from our other guests. So the fact, and this is something that you hear about also. A matter of fact, there's a whole chapter in my book about it with Dr. Leo Sprinkle's work. And Dr. Leo Sprinkle, for those who don't know, was a pioneer in the contactee abduction experience. And so many people wrote to him about, thank you for that. That's the book there about Dr. Leo Sprinkle. And but there's a chapter called Dreams or Memories, because people say, look, this came to me so vividly. It's like no other dream I've ever had in my life. It seems so real. These beings were here. I'm being told information, even with Betty and Barney Hill, Zeta Reticuli, the star map, all this. I mean, so I find that really fascinating. And we also know that the Pleiadians seem to be, I'm not that I'm going to put ETs in certain groups, like these are looking out for the best interest of humanities and these ones aren't. But if we're going to be in a broad sense, the Pleiadians always seem to land on that more, we're here to help humanity side of things. So absolutely. I find that really interesting. Yeah. That's really cool.
LALA, go ahead, Katie.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Tara.
No, I was just thinking about, your dad and your history with your family, and you said you O negative blood, excuse me. And so I was thinking about your genetics, and I'm wondering what your thought is on genetics and our individual abilities to have these sensitivities and these communications or these knowings or these, whatever it is that a lot of people have, and a lot of us are experiencing things differently. And I'm wondering if you have any insight on that.
I don't know much, but I have read that a lot of O negatives are very psychic and do have, maybe we've been created, maybe they messed with our DNA so that we can sense more. I don't know. I do feel that they monitor us because we are a little different. That's for sure. Because why else would they put a chip in me and hang out? There's something going on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But I want to know more about that. I don't know that much about it, but because this is all, I just used to experience it. I never really looked into it. That's
Right.
one thing with the aliens. They numbed me. I called it alien Xanax because I would just go, okay. It's weird because I usually have anxiety and I would be so calm when I'd have experiences.
Yeah, you brought up something about your father too. When you guys witnessed those orbs, that he was sort of like, don't see them, don't care, not going to talk about this.
Right.
And I know, Tara and Shane, you've heard this as well, that this is sort of this kind of weird. You can have multiple experiencers together witnessing something so unusual, and as if it doesn't happen. And it could go months or years before they even talk about it again, as if they're taking an ET Xanax or a numbing or something like that. So again, something that we hear that's common. Maybe they're trying to protect our brains from being completely overwhelmed and trying to process what it is we're experiencing. I don't know.
Absolutely. Cool. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a good book, I think it's by Nick Redfern, on Bloodlines of the Gods, that talk about the Rh negative factor. Now, I know this has been talked about in ufological circles for decades, looking at that Rh negative factor. And in fact, on the MUFON questionnaire, I don't always do it, but I know there is a place there where do you know your blood type? And I'm not on the experiencer team. Shane, are you on the experiencer team? Are they still asking that question? Do you know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something that's been looked at.
Most people don't know their blood types, but
yeah.
Right. So I find that interesting, and like you too, you look at different Irish descents and Irish folklore and the psychics, and I don't know if you have Irish descent in you.
A little bit,
yeah. And to Tara's point, I mean, that is a piece of science that we can look at genetics in that kind of way, and are there sensitivities in certain DNA that others might not? I mean, I don't want to say they don't have it, because everybody has the ability, I think, to be psychic and to be tuned in. It's like a muscle. You have to exercise it, be open to it, learn how to dial in the channel and use it and work it.
Yes.
Would you agree with that, Lala, that if people wanted to communicate with ETs, what advice would you give them? We have just a few minutes before break, but that would be a good way to take us into break.
I would say be patient, be pure with your intent. You can talk to them inside your head or outside verbally if it makes you feel better. But sometimes it takes a day. Sometimes it takes a month. But keep trying, keep asking, and keep looking up in the sky. That's the whole, just let yourself be free and they will come.
Love it.
But make sure you say only the good ones. Oh my God, I should say that.
Kind of important.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's not a joke. You really do have to take some measures to protect yourself. And do you have any ways that you ground yourself and protect yourself before you start communicating?
My dad always said to surround yourself with the universal white light of protection. Just imagine it. That's all you got to do, really. Just imagine it. And I like to burn sage every once in a while just to clear the energy out, because you just don't know what's coming around.
Right.
But people like them. I have ADD really bad, so I can't meditate, but people like meditating a lot. Just simple things. It doesn't have to be very detailed or in depth. It's something that makes you comfortable. It'll work.
Right. Yeah. I'm with you. We have that in common. We both have ADHD.
Okay, good.
It can be a little hard to meditate, but I don't think that's always necessary. I think you said it brilliantly. You just clear your mind, have positive, good intentions, and just say, intention. I think intention has a lot to do with the phenomenon in general. And I think, just like Shane was saying, you have to think of a craft and then create it and produce it, and that is no different with unusual experiences as well. You have to accept it's there and almost invite it in and interact with you. That's step number one. But you have to be careful what you're inviting in. Now, you do have a website. I think we have, it is created a banner, lalabrightllc.com. And so you could go to LALA Bright's website there if you're interested in her psychic readings. And, we will talk about this more after break. And I'm excited about a new segment starting today. Lala gets to be my first victim. It's a new little segment I have. It's called An Evening with an Extraterrestrial. It's a little game we're going to play here on out with all our guests. It's 5 quick questions. So we will get to that after the break as well. And I want to talk to you more about your psychic side of things and how you think that also interacts with the ET contact. Do they go hand in hand? Did one lead to the other? Which came first, chicken and the egg kind of thing? So more about that after the break. And one other quick question. Are you considering writing a book?
Bob really wants me to. And, it would be a really good book because my life has been interesting. I don't even think people believe it, honestly.
Well, I don't know. I just heard that. So book is coming from LALA Bright.
Awesome.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Advanced copy.
I heard that coming through. Did you hear it too, Tara?
I did.
Now.
Yeah.
You're committed. It just all came through right here live on the show. But when we get back, an evening with an extraterrestrial and more with LALA Bright. We'll see you after the break.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
MUFON is the voice of thousands of like-minded people who want to see change. We speak up against UFO secrecy. We engage governments and agencies around the world on the topic. We share information with the public through our journal, website, newsletter, social media, and even our own TV channel. When you join MUFON, you add your voice to the cause. Few things are more important in our time than understanding the UFO question. Join MUFON. Find your friends.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm gonna take it for the energy. I'm gonna take it for the play. I'm gonna take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a feel the difference money back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
Always getting that boogie on. It always brightens up my Tuesday night, you know? Okay, I'm so excited about this new segment. Okay, an evening with an extraterrestrial.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
I made a little graphic. Got to share the graphic. Okay.
I like it.
So this is the new segment. An evening with an evening on Earth. Let's specify here. Because my first question for you, Lala, is where on Earth would you want to show an extraterrestrial? Where would this special evening take place? Anywhere on the planet.
I would like to go take them to Antarctica, actually.
Ooh.
Because we're not allowed there, and this would be a great excuse. Like, I have an alien with me, you have to let me look, you know.
Very smart.
That is a great answer to kick off this segment. Antarctica. And I'm assuming you're bringing your boots, your gloves, your scarf.
Yes.
Hopefully it's indoors. Okay. So the next question is, what are we serving of any food? What food would you like the extraterrestrial to taste?
Well, I'm going to get a free meal of sushi, and I'm going to make it sound wonderful so we can get extra sushi. Well, they're in the sky. They probably don't have anything like it, so it's got to be exciting for them, right?
Oh,
That's my excuse.
love it.
Again, that I myself, I was in Arizona, Shane and Tara, with Stacy, and Stacy took me to the sushi bar where all the sushi comes on like
on a
conveyor belt.
Yep.
And you just pull in the plates.
Yeah.
You know where I was by the
That
boot
looks good
camp.
too.
You guys go to the boot camp in Phoenix if you want to be a field investigator. You can go to this sushi bar with us. The three of us will be there. That was my first try of sushi.
Cool.
So that is a very unique choice. Very unique choice. So the aliens are going to go, sushi, huh? No, no, it was pretty good. Okay, the next question for you. What music or what song would you play for the extraterrestrial?
I think I would play, it's the band called Perfect Circle.
Love a perfect circle.
And the song is Gravity, and it's about getting through your own little inner demons, whatever they may be, and going towards the sun, the light. Because I wonder, do they suffer with this in some sort of way themselves? You know? Or is it just them watching us go through that?
Right. You know what? I think that answer will never be beaten. I think you just, right now I'm giving you the blue ribbon for the song because that's an excellent choice for an excellent reason. I love that. Okay. And what movie would you recommend your ET person to watch?
I just saw Pope's Exorcist. Okay.
Oh.
And that was good. I want to know, do they coexist with demons? Do they have to deal at all with them? What are their feelings on it? How do they handle it? I just want to know, are they fearful like we are of them? I'm interested in that because they're both, demons are powerful, aliens are powerful. How do they coexist? You know, it's interesting.
That is an interesting thought. And you said you just saw this movie. Is it in theaters right now?
I saw it on what was it, Hulu? It's
Hulu.
You can just, it's free. You can watch it. I think it's been out for a little while.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
All right, I'm checking out that movie. And then finally, the final question, and you sort of answered it this one, but I'm going to have you answer what question, if you had one question to ask an extraterrestrial, what would it be?
I would like to know, is there some type of universal law that keeps them from really interacting or even interfering with us? Or do they choose to kind of step away and wait till we come to them or the situation's right? What happened? Did we used to be more together and then we separated? You know?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I ponder that a lot, and I think we all do, because I think that's often the argument, right? Like, same with the blurry videos and the blurry photos. Like, if they were here, why don't they just say, hey? And if there's so many different types, one of them surely will break the rules if there's a universal rule or law, and say, nope, here we are. Yeah, haha. Or they have a sense of humor. So that's a really good question. I think that's something we all wonder, like, why are they holding back? Obviously, we're getting glimpses and they're communicating on some level.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so very good. That was great. All right. Good job. You're very hard to beat.
Okay, good.
So speaking of that, there's another video, Lala, that you shared with us. And I kind of want you to set this up a little bit, because I looked at this frame by frame, and it is very highly unusual. I, for the life of me, can't figure out what I'm looking at in this video. It's the one that looks, well, I'm not even going to explain it. You explain it, what this is.
Is it
the one that comes out of water? Is that the one?
The one that comes out of the wall.
Oh,
sorry.
That was interesting. I wasn't even calling that to me that night at all. I kind of felt like it was there to watch and monitor, which I've never felt quite like that before. But this thing, and this was probably as big as a basketball or larger. Okay. It wasn't tiny.
Wow.
It was outside. It came out of the wall in the front of the house, and it was really windy out. So this thing was strong, and it had 3 legs, but you only see 2 until it turns, and you see the third one. And I think on each leg there's a soft light. And so it comes out of the wall, it kind of turns, and then it goes around the house and disappears. And it never came back again. I don't know what it is, if something was in it, or if someone was controlling it to do that, or if it was... I mean, it wasn't a ghost. I really don't know what it was, but it certainly wasn't a bug or anything, because it literally came out of the wall, you know? And I have another video I can send you another time, and I slowed it down. You can see every little movement. It's very interesting.
Okay,
right.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
And then an orb goes after it.
And play that one more time.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is so strange looking. I mean, you're right. I was slowing it down and stopping it and looking, and it's not a bug. It's not a bird. And you said it just came right out of the wall like that.
Yep.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah,
And this
it's an
sense,
unusual shape too.
It's almost like a mouth guard shape. Blowing in the wind. Well, aliens have teeth too, maybe. Maybe not.
I'm sorry, that took me. I'm thinking boomerang, mouth guard.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Horseshoe.
It does look sort of like
Mouth
a
guard.
horseshoe.
I like
you're,
it.
you're funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the sense of being watched or monitored, Lala, if you will. Kind of talk us about, is this something that you sense, or what are your feelings on that?
I've always felt something watching me my whole life, all the time. And it made me feel kind of crazy when I was younger. I didn't really understand why. And they've always I physically have seen them check in also. So that's validation that I wasn't crazy. I guess part of it, they want me to know that they're always there. I don't really know. I kind of think, I know this sounds weird, but I kind of think I'm somehow a part of them. I don't know how to explain it. I feel very drawn to them and very connected to them, almost more than other human beings. It's really strange. I know it sounds weird, but It's
It
just how I
does.
feel. Yeah. So maybe they're just saying, look, they're checking on their experiment, or they're saying, hey, you're our friend. We're checking on you that way. I don't know, but it's something strange.
Lala, do you think like your experiences? I have trouble putting this together in my own mind, but there's the psychic side of you and the experiencer side. Are they connected? Are always, or are they sometimes connected, or are they not connected? Are they? Is this different experiences? I don't know what I'm getting at. I'll just let you answer.
Love it.
I know what you're trying to say, Shane.
I
Cool.
think they're always connected,
That's one of us.
But at times I did experience them, and I wasn't using my psychic abilities. I wasn't even thinking about it. Actually, every time I've ever seen them physically, a craft or an orb or whatever, I wasn't using my psychic abilities, which is interesting. Yeah. So I don't know what that's about, but when I psychically talk to them, I feel more connected with the ones that respond to me when I'm psychically talking to them. The ones that show up out of the blue, I feel like I don't know them. It's not a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Interesting.
So would you say that, you don't necessarily have to be psychic to have experience, but you can have both, and maybe not the same every time. It's a combination of things that you're experiencing, I guess, is what I'm trying to get my head around. Yeah.
Because there's people I've spoken to that aren't psychic or choose not to use it or don't know they have it, and they've had quite a bit of experiences. And I think it's just the beings or aliens or whatever you want to call them. I think they just pick certain people to go after more. I think they go after everybody. Honestly, I think everybody gets monitored in some sense, because they're up here and we're down here, so obviously. But I think there are certain people they go after more.
Well, Lala, your experiences, and like when Katie read your short bio, but you had heard voices calling you in a cemetery. Do you still hear voices like that? I know you're calling people, but if you are hearing that, I've had that experience, and it sounds like a real person is just talking into my ear. Mm-hmm. And is that what you're experiencing? And what can you share with us about that?
So that usually scares me. So I tell them to only do it for emergencies now. Usually they show me, I like seeing pictures and decoding what they mean. But when I do hear it, it is like someone's just talking to me. And I guess the last time I heard that was my mom had just passed away, and I was really upset, and I was laying in bed and nobody was around me. And I heard her in my ear say, I'm with you. And she must have been like right here. Mm-hmm. And so I think that when they need to do it, they do it that way. There's always a certain reason to help you. I believe it's to help you. Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm giving a reading to someone and I hear someone's name, it's more internal. I won't hear it outside.
It's a knowing.
Right. Yeah. Like I did a reading 2 days ago, and the husband that passed kept saying John, but inside my mind. And it was his son, John. So it's just a little different. I think emergencies or something important, they'll say it out here.
Is there any tips you can give people to kind of differentiate what is your own thoughts and your own voice inside your mind? Because we all have that inner dialogue. Mine tends to never shut the heck up. I'm just always like, shut up. Shut up. And it turns into that. But is there ways that we can discern like what is maybe someone, a guide or an ET or a past loved one that has our best interest in heart, that has a message for us, or a sign or a symbol, or like, hey, Katie, go that way, not that way. You know, are there ways to kind of tell the difference?
It's hard, especially if you doubt yourself a lot. But I would suggest kind of telling yourself to quiet down as much as you can and slow your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And if that same word or feeling or picture keeps coming, keeps showing up, that's a message. They will keep bugging you about it to get the point across. But it's hard. It's hard to know what's you and what's not. I still struggle with that. When I'm doing a reading, sometimes I'll literally say to the person, oh my God, I thought I was crazy. But it's thank you for validating that was, you know, his son's name. Because I'm like, am I just, you know, because it's still kind of weird. It's because I was brought up Catholic and my mom didn't want me to be this way. And then my dad was totally hippie into it. So I still battle with that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So just if it keeps showing, if it keeps showing up, it's usually a message and not your thoughts.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's a good point. So also I had a question about hearing your mother's voice like that. I too experienced that with my dad's passing. It was like he was sitting on the foot of my bed, like in that almost like before you're going to sleep kind of state. Was that the same thing for you, or was it like just in the middle of the day and she was right there? Or are you in a certain state of consciousness when you're better able to communicate with people that have crossed over?
With that instance, I was laying in bed, getting ready for trying to go to, I was kind of falling asleep, but I was crying a lot too. So it is easy. I think it's easier for them to communicate with us when we're sleeping or falling asleep because our ego is out of the way. So we can't go, it's just, I'm just making this up, you know? Mm-hmm. So they can really give us messages to our higher selves. Because with visitation dreams, we'll remember them. And I believe that they try. Well, listen, sometimes when people are grieving, it's harder to get messages. So if anybody's going through that, they will come eventually. It's not because they don't care. It's just because you're grieving, and sometimes it's harder for them to come through because of that. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, that's an important question, because especially when you're doing psychic readings and psychic work, you're dealing with people that are going through sometimes the hardest times of their lives, right? They're grieving. I know for my sister and I, we kind of had, and I felt uncomfortable about it because so what you just described, Lala, was exactly how my father came and talked to me. It was almost like I could feel him sit on the edge of my bed and have this conversation with me. It was in his voice, and it's hard to hear somebody's actual voice when you're just trying to imagine a voice, but it was like he was and then my sister's like, well, he didn't come to me, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm like, well, did he, you know, and I often wonder, and same like the ranch stuff, that seemed to affect me in different ways than it did her. Not to say she hasn't had anything happen to her. She has, just not to the level. And so I'm wondering if you have any insight as to why maybe some deceased loved ones are easier to communicate with than, say, others.
Well, I would ask, are you a little more psychic than she is, or more sensitive to that kind of thing?
For sure.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people that aren't open to psychic stuff or don't
I would say she's more fearful of it.
The fear will, that's it. Fear will make things not happen. You won't. It's amazing that it will stop messages from coming. I guess I don't really know how to answer that because that's,
I think you answered it brilliantly. I think,
Yeah.
Openness and having fear, and,
Right.
and
Yeah,
she can be a little bit more fearful of it. So I think
It's
that you
nothing
answered that
personal.
brilliantly. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it's
nothing
not-
personal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like just any kind of communication, right? We need to be in the right headspace to convey the right message and all those things, those
Right.
feelings. But I would,
Oh, yeah.
while I had seen a little bit of an article of a guy who was indicating that there's different type of psychics and mediums, like some 73 different kinds or whatever. And it was talking about how some, see things, some hear, some feel, and there's some is like auto writing and just all these different types of, I guess it's just types of communication that their ability allows them to have maybe more strongly than others. But have you ever given that thought, what type of psychic ability you have and how you use it? I mean, do you consciously use it? Can you turn it on, turn it off, or is it just random, or how does that work?
I honestly, my whole life until recently, thought everybody could see spirit, hear spirit, smell. Because I do a little bit of everything. I don't do the writing, but I thought that was normal. I really did. I have a hard time turning it off, and I get really tired if I go to like Walmart. I hate it because I'll be so tired by the time I'm done shopping because I feel everybody. And I'll have these feelings that I'll get sad or angry or really happy. And I'm like, what is going on? But I'm learning how to do that. I have to ground more. I forget to protect myself all the time because I'm so excited about getting messages and I just don't think about it. I'm like the worst at that. And Bob would be like, did you cut off and stop the reading and tell the spirit to go? I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. They're probably still here. So we've got probably 100 spirits in the house.
Oh my goodness.
But I think it's interesting about the writing. I wish I could do that. It's fascinating.
I bet you can if you try.
Yeah.
I bet you if you just quiet down. I know like me, it's hard to meditate a little bit, but but it's an act. Well, actually, it might really work well with somebody who does have ADD or ADHD because you're actively using the pen and paper, and just like what is his name, Tyler Henry. Maybe his technique where he has a piece of paper and he'll just scribble as he's getting his reading. He'll just
that's a good idea.
And it gives the people the paper when he's done. Like, frame that as from Tyler Henry, but that's how he channels. So you're right, Shane. People do that. And I was curious about, you mentioned you see in pictures, and I can relate to that as well. And it's also true that when you have something your whole life, you just assume everybody's wired and functions the same way you do. So you're thinking that everybody goes to Walmart and sees pictures in their heads and feels everybody, but that's not true. And I really hope that, and kudos to Bob for kind of getting on you to protect yourself and to set boundaries and to learn to unplug, because that can take a toll on your physical health, your mental health. You're riding that emotional roller coaster all the time. And it's really hard to learn to discern what's yours and what's somebody else's, and, keep that there. There's times when you do need to shut it off, but I'm curious about if you can kind of explain the pictures in your head, what do you see and how do you interpret that?
It's like the people that have passed, or whatever energy being it might be, is showing me a family photo book. And so they'll show me pictures of them and certain things they did and what they wore. And sometimes I'll see a name written out and it'll show a picture of a name. and then they'll tell me about the person I'm reading for, and then their friends that are still alive. And it's neat. And they do it so that it's easy for me to decode for them. And if I don't know, I'll just say, look, this is what I'm seeing. I don't know what it means, but does this make sense to you? And it's really fun. I like it a lot. But the one thing I wanted to say, I read eyes. That's my main thing. And my whole life, I was terrified to look in people's eyes, like deep into people's eyes, because I thought they could see my soul too. So, like, I'm in high school, like, yeah.
Wow.
And Bob's like, they can't read you too. Relax. I'm like, oh, okay.
But Lala, that's a good point though. And like the kind of discussion we were just talking about is I just realized recently that I'm an empath. And so I've been going my whole life thinking that everybody felt that, and walking into Walmart, I feel everybody's emotions when I walk in there, and I thought they were mine. And it's blowing my mind that it wasn't me. And so it's, your whole life you think that everybody is like you. And so my question is, how did you maneuver through, being young and having these gifts? And did you share this with any friends? Did you have people that you could really talk to and may not have understood what was going on, but that you could share these things with? Because not many people have that. So,
my dad was like my spiritual teacher when I would listen. Most of the time, I'm like, whatever, Dad. Okay, come on. But I only had him to talk to. I was I think I tried once or twice when I was younger. And one time I got beat up I scared them, I guess. And the other time they picked on me, and then a group picked on me, and it terrified me. So I really kept it to myself for quite a while. Now, I did have an issue with almost losing jobs because I'd like to help people. And if I got a message somewhere, I would just blurt it out, not knowing that maybe I should wait and ask if they want it, or not be in front of the boss when I do it, So I had to kind of learn the hard way, which made me very quiet and very shy. But I think like you said, a lot of people do go through that. And I think it should be spoken about more somehow. I guess even if somebody hears this, they're like, okay, I'm not alone, because it's depressing. It is.
It's a heavy load.
Yeah. You mentioned you have a son, and I want to talk about children, because children are more, as we all know, are connected, I think, closer to the other side and extraterrestrials. And right now I'm having really bad deja vu, so this is crazy. But anyway, how do you handle with your son? And does your son show signs of having the same gift? And if so, how do you maneuver that? And what do you recommend people do with children that are, seeing spirit or seeing ET? Or what do you recommend for that, for parents?
I know he has dreams where they'll come true, warning dreams. One time when he was little, he woke up screaming that a snake was going to get him. And we didn't have snakes where I lived at all, ever. And that day we go in the backyard, and this huge 6-foot black snake slithers by him. And I go, oh my God, okay, he's got it too. So I struggle with it. I want him so badly to have a normal childhood that I didn't bring it up that much at all. But now that he's older, I take time to talk to him a little bit at a time. Pace it out. That's what I would say. Pace it out. Make it sound fun. Don't make it sound too overwhelming or in depth, because they're little, and you want them to be happy about how beautiful their gift is. And so I have a thing where I want to protect them from everything, Right. So I guess it's just wait and kind of give them a little bit of information and see how they handle it, and then go from there, I would say.
Yeah, it's good advice. It's very good advice. Also, so can you share with us, like you mentioned, you after you went through these multiple losses in your life, that you finally came to a decision where you were going to own your gift and share it with others. Do you remember like your first actual reading? And can you talk about trusting the process and kind of walk us through how that happened for you, Lala?
The first reading ever in my whole life?
Yeah. When this kind of started. Yeah.
That's a good question. Let me see. Okay. My neighbor, Nadja, she was probably a year younger than me. And I had never met her grandmom. Her grandmom had passed. And I kept describing this lady, this older lady, and something about a rainbow. And she brought out a picture book, and every picture with her grandmother had a rainbow in it, either by accident or on purpose. It was just this weird thing that always happened. And she was just like, "Oh, that's neat. Wow. Okay." but I didn't understand what was going on. I was just like, because what spirits do is they go, "I'm going to keep pushing this information on you, and you have to share it. Because if you don't, I'm going to just keep bothering you with it." So that's why I would blurt things out like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I got a question or a comment. It's a little bit off, but I've watched this show for a couple of years called The Dead Files. And if you're not familiar with it, there's a psychic medium. Her name's Amy. Yeah, okay. Okay, so here, I don't need to explain more about that part. But here's the thing I find fascinating, and see if you got some thoughts on it, is what are you guys laughing at? Am I getting too excited? So in all of the episodes, okay, a family is, haunted or whatever in their home, and they come in and they identify who it is, and then they help find a resolution. And, it ranges from, dead people and spirits to elementals to demons to whatever. And the solution they recommend always involves like different people, like maybe a Reiki master or a Catholic priest or a shaman or a Native American or some sort of different, way of dealing with whatever the problem is there. However, after watching this for years, have been 3 or 4 cases where she's determined it's aliens. And the solution is there is none. You're stuck with it. Maybe you can get referred to a therapy group. That's it. That really startled me or struck me that whatever the phenomena or multiple phenomena are, I mean, they must be different, because some things work on some and other solutions work on other things. So, I mean, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, or she'd tell them to move out. And a lot of these families couldn't financially move out.
Yeah.
It was weird. I know I've only had one bad experience with an alien. And it's so hard to know what to do, because most of the times you don't even know that they're around and bothering you. It's very much like a spirit that attaches. I would suggest going to a psychic that can pick, so I can pick up on aliens and spirits. Find somebody like that can feel it out and sense it, and kind of help with that and trace back if it was from where you live, or did you do something somewhere you shouldn't have. Sometimes they're just angry that maybe you picked up an artifact that you shouldn't have. So I don't know. It's hard because none of this is really this is still kind of new information coming out. Nobody really knows exactly what to do. I say just sage every freaking part of your house and hope for the best.
That's great.
That is great. Lala,
Thank
with
you.
your experience, with your experiences, do you find that these entities or these things you have communication with have a spirit, as you would have known it from being raised Catholic type of thing, or just a sense of self and spirit?
They feel more business type. It's not very emotional at all. I can definitely tell the spirits. I feel everything, the happy, sad, whatever. With them, it's very much, even if it's kind, it's very much, this is why we're here. This is what we're doing. Um, I had somebody ask me a really good question. I didn't know the answer, but it was a good question. They said, "Have you ever come across a dead alien energy?" Picked up on that. But that got me thinking, can they die? Do they? What happens when they do? That was really interesting.
Yeah.
I went down that rabbit hole. I I hope someday I could find out. I try to ask them yes or no questions, and so they'll do certain things for yes. Um, it's very interesting. I've videotaped that. So I just get so excited I ask stupid questions. But
share with us some of your
Yeah.
some of your insights that you gleaned from them.
I've asked if they were what's the one alien? Oh my god, from Egypt that everybody's afraid of? Not the reptilians, the main ones.
The Dracos, the
Anunnakis.
Anunnaki.
Anunnaki. Okay. And they were flying all around, and when I asked that question, they completely disappeared. It was like I shouldn't even ask that question at all. That was eerie. So I don't know what that was about, but I'll ask, are you from here? Are you from another dimension? Just about them, really. But then my ADD goes off and I'll go do something else with them. So that sucks, but I'm learning. But it's interesting. I do remember that. I was thinking, should I not have asked the Anunnaki question? Because I get mixed. People tell me mixed things. Some think that they're evil, and some think that they're wonderful and powerful. So
on real, just a follow up to that. Then, so you're sensing the evil, but do you sense any emotion with them, even in the business?
No, not really.
Love or anything like that?
I don't feel it. I can just, it's a no, it's not a feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, but
Do you get
one, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you get a sense of like male, female, young, old, any personality, like, I don't know, any kind of personality or?
I don't feel the age ever, but I do feel if it's a male energy or a female. I feel more male energy, actually. Very rarely do I feel a female energy. And actually, when I feel the female energy, they're stronger. They're more take charge. The males will kind of skirt around until I'm comfortable, and the females are like, "We're coming in. This is it," So I found that interesting. I don't know if they have an age like we do.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have they given you a sense of the mission? What are they doing here? And will they ever reveal the truth? I mean, everything that's going on right now with the hearings and that, have you talked to them about that and what they think of it?
I only know, so they never have given me a date or anything like that. I only know that they're here with certain people for soft disclosure to kind of get people ready for something that's coming soon.
Soon.
And yeah, within a few years, something's coming. Now it might be here, but it's going to be more out in the open. That's the feeling they gave me. But these want to do it gently. So they'll tell certain people and then we tell people, and we kind of make it seem fun and interesting and not scary. So that's what they want. They want to help us and us to help them. I just don't yet know, but I'm working on finding that out actually.
That's fascinating. So in a sense, what you're saying is they probably then for maybe millennia, if they altered our DNA, they've been maybe, seeding the planet, and they're actively kind of I mean, I know it sounds funny, but kind of getting their image out there, like in the movie Paul, like getting people comfortable with
Yes.
the fact that we're not the only game in town, right?
Right.
And then they're picking and choosing people or workers or star seeds, light workers, whatever you'd like to call them, to kind of do the work that you're doing, Lala, and others are doing. So when they do come, and I have heard it from others, not just you, that we're looking at a shortened timeline here, that something is going to happen. And do you believe that there's people in the know within our government, military, industrial complex that are aware of this timeline? And do you believe that that's what's happening now with this rolling out?
Absolutely. I 100% believe that if they didn't have to give us little pieces of truth, they wouldn't. There's a reason they're doing this. I think they don't want total chaos when this happens. So they're trying to, I think, numb us to it. And because people don't respond the way I thought people would, they almost act as, it's like, okay, whatever. And because they do this little dance, they'll tell us something about aliens, and then something magically will happen where we're looking over here, right?
Yeah.
So we're not fully worried about the aliens. It's they're smart in their own messed up way. But I feel they know. I feel they know a lot more, and I feel they can't control whatever's coming, and that's what they're scared of.
Well said.
Yeah.
Did you have a question, Shane?
No, I'm just kind of that's very profound, and me as kind of a nuts and bolts guy, physical material type emphasis, that I think the real truth of the matter, or the real information, is really on this side of it. The contactee, the psychic, the experiencer side of it. That's where the information is. And yeah, I think if you talk to anybody just in the world in general, not even related to ufology or anything, is people have a sense or a feeling that something is going to happen, right? It just seems to permeate, human society. So, I'm really paying attention to that, and follow what you've been saying, and looking for kind of clues and hints to. I think just most people get it. There's some undercurrent. There's something there, and we're all just trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I have a question about crafts, real quick, if I could ask.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've gotten some pictures of crafts in the backyard, and I've noticed 2 crafts so far. The crafts didn't look alike. They looked very different, but they both had this light ball attached to this. I guess it was maybe a metal arm, and then a ball of light.
Did you send a photo of one of those?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I didn't send a photo of the other UFO with the ball of light, but I did send a UFO picture that came back on different occasions at different angles. So I thought that was cool.
Is that this one here?
Yeah. So you'll see it easier on the bottom one. You see that little ball at the very bottom?
Yeah.
Not that one.
Oh, let me go up to the top again.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is the same craft, different angle, different nights.
Those are
And this was up
strange.
in this. Yeah, it's awesome. But another craft came, and it had that ball, and I was wondering if you guys knew anything about that, because it's interesting.
Well, I haven't seen anything quite like this, but I have seen the balls, the orb balls, the light bulbs, just like the case of the week this week, these swarms that appear to have independent propulsions. These are not all floating with the wind current. These seem like they have direction to them, shooting off different ways. But those are very unusual photographs. And you said you physically see these with your eyes too, or was this just captured on film? Or explain?
So I was calling them to me, and I saw a flash in the video.
Okay.
And I zoomed because this was up in the stars. So I zoomed in, and that's what I found.
Wow.
And I said, I'd like to know more about you. Could you come back again? And I think maybe a month later, a couple weeks later, it came back, a different angle. And same way, it was a flash. We wouldn't be able. It's so far away, we wouldn't be able to see it, with our own eyes.
Right.
But the other one that had the ball, it showed up during the day, which was interesting.
Wow.
And it even had a little bit of purple attached to it, which I've never seen before. But it did. It flashed, and it disappeared. So it never came back again. But it was very interesting.
That is so fascinating. And that second image, Tara, if you could put that up, it almost looks like a question mark. Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk about that image?
I almost threw that. I had a feeling that it was something, but I almost threw it out and didn't show anything of it to anybody. And somebody on Facebook said another UFO person got that same craft like a year prior.
Wow.
And I looked at the person's page. It's the same thing. I couldn't believe it. So this was also another flash up in the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that mouse guard that was flying earlier?
Hey, you're onto something right there.
Kind of looks like it.
Kind of resembles that. I mean, you wonder, and to me, and I know Bob Spearing, our own Bob, he has done a deep dive into the orange orb phenomena. And these orange orbs are seen in different sizes, from these small balls of light to these ginormous balls. And I am just fascinated. I experienced the blue orb years ago in my bedroom. Very much felt like a monitoring device. And I'm wondering if it isn't something like that. Some probes or monitoring, or maybe they're picking up energy or interacting through energy, but it very much feels just like balls of energy light, right?
Okay.
And I know there's people that have argued, different types of like earthquake lights or natural phenomenon, but these are not swamp gas. I mean, there's something more to this, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Yeah, there was that case in 1990. Do you guys remember that big case where the triangles really got popular in Belgium? And there's that picture out there, John, of that triangle. Well, one of the things that people reported, and these things were really low to the ground and very large, but they would send out an orb. In that case, I think it was a red orb. And they literally watched it detach off the bottom of the craft, go out, zoom around, do some things, poke around, and then come back and kind of like redock. So to me, that's very probe-like, right?
Right.
And
very cool.
But again, that's very physical, UFO, nuts and bolts thing. But
I've seen that.
When you see all these things, you got to think they're like probes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear that with crop circles, and you've also hear those same type of things reported around animal mutilations.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I share one thing real quick?
Please.
I've seen the red orbs flying out of, I guess, a mothership, maybe. I don't know. But I was parked getting coffee with a friend. It started to freak us out. So we left, and I just started driving home. And that's when it was nighttime. A helicopter put its spotlight on a big cloud, and I saw the underbelly of this thing, and it looked like pipes. It was black metal, huge, and looked like pipes intertwining with each other. And the pipes were so large, they were as wide as the body of the helicopter. I mean, this thing was massive, and it was in Baltimore a few years ago. And I don't remember driving home, nothing, but I remember the detail of that craft. I will never forget it. It was amazing.
Is this the craft that had the red light under it?
It was shooting these, I thought they were fireballs at first, right? But they kept shooting the red orbs out. And
interesting.
Yeah, they weren't that big, but I was like, I don't want to die tonight. I just want to Dunkin' Donuts. So we're going home.
And how did your friend react to this? And do you believe that there was like a missing time incident there? And how did your friend respond to all this?
At the time, she was scared. To this day, she says she doesn't remember any of it. That it never happened.
Well,
and yeah, it's weird.
Lala, do you ever keep journals or notebooks about your experiences just in case you don't remember or you go back on any of them? Do you ever do that?
No, but I should do that. Someone told me that recently. So that's a sign that I need to, especially for dreams too. Also,
yes.
Do you do that?
I do. I take Greg's shorthand, so I can do automatic writing and I can just write really quickly with shorthand. And when I go back later, I have no recollection of stuff I put down. So it's just a matter of meditating and just letting go. And I think everybody can do that. But it's very therapeutic just to write it down or share it somehow, even if it's a piece of paper. So
that's true. I should, because some of the things I've experienced are crazy.
They can go in your book, all these notes you make.
Yes. I know Bob's like, you're doing it now. They said it. You have to do it.
That's right. So
I will.
Yeah.
It's so true, because our memories are funny, and there are certain details that our brains will focus on certain aspects of a memory and forget other parts of it. So I think too, and that's good for any of our listeners too. I mean, whether it's paranormal or UFO, whatever related, if it's unusual or a dream, even write down the date, the time, exactly what happened to the best of your memory, because our memories like to trick us. This has been a fascinating hour here. And I just want to kind of go back to the paranormal side of things, because especially with the high strangeness cases, Skinwalker Ranch and things like that, you often hear of people that have extraterrestrial contact, or that will have paranormal or electromagnetic kind of frequencies happen in their house, TVs going on and off, lights. Have you experienced any of that poltergeist kind of activity? And if so, what?
We have a lot of, it sounds like a radio changing channels. It's strange. We pick that up a lot with our videos. We've gotten EVPs. We've gotten lights turning on and off a lot. Knocking. We've heard knocking on walls. So it's a little bit of everything, not to the point where we want to move out, but it's definitely active. Absolutely.
Cool. Shane, did you have a question? I think you did, right?
No, I'm good. I mean, I did not, but I'm still kind of reeling from the other stuff. I'm getting my head around this. Crazy.
Why do you think there's so much of that activity that happens?
The paranormal electromagnetic effects. I don't know. I think that's something we're all trying to figure out. But I definitely, especially, I compartmentalized a lot like you have done too, Lala, where we want to put all these different phenomena into different boxes and call them by different names.
Right.
And the more I read and the more I research, the more I coming to understand that they're all linked hand in hand. And so it's not uncommon, and Shane would know too, and Tara from talking to experiencers, that this is a phenomenon. Maybe it's as simple as what you mentioned, Lala, is that, once you open that box and you start interacting with it, it kind of invites the other things to kind of tag along, so to speak.
Absolutely. It really does.
Yeah. So I find that interesting. And I wanted to ask too, before we leave, are there spirits, both whether they're deceased loved ones or even extraterrestrials, that are kind of earthbound, that I would say on the extraterrestrial side of things, that are here for a mission or a task? Maybe, like you said, they're kind of more serious. They're here to do a job. But are they earthbound here until they finish their job? And that's true with the spirits as well. Like for my dad and my brother, both that are deceased, could they be stuck here, or can they come and go? I mean, how does that kind of work? We only have a couple minutes left, unfortunately, but
I think with spirits, if it was something traumatic, they could be maybe confused and earthbound for a while, or they decide to be your guardian or protector. I think they choose to be earthbound sometimes.
Yeah.
With the aliens, I honestly think they can just go in portals and go back and forth. I mean, I've seen it. I've gotten pictures of it. I think that's their doorway to here. I do.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, I want to thank you for being here with us tonight. It's been a pleasure having you, and very insightful, and you've given us a lot to think about. And I know I'm going to leave here and try to do some new techniques and really open that channel back up, try and communicate, because I think we all share that, where we can have a dialogue. And and it's something very personal to each and every one of us, but it's an important piece of this UFO puzzle. So thank you, Lala, for being our guest tonight. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you, Tara, and thank you, Shane. Thank you, Bill Skywatcher. And we hope you're on the mend. We're thinking about you all the time. And we hope to see you guys all back next Tuesday night. So have a good night, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Take care.